Hello, this is Sami speaking here. Hope you guys are doing very well. Today I have with me Sofian, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the world of tech, Web3, the metaverse, but more from a markets perspective and really passing in review last week. We're streaming live from our headquarters in Berlin, and it's today, Monday, the 2nd of May 2022. Sofian, maybe let's start with the more traditional stock market. We've seen tech stocks under heavy pressure. There's been a number of companies reporting. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a briefing of what you've seen.
Oh yeah, sure. As we start into the new month, we closed April really, and what can be described as a new market correction. So with the first one being in January this year. To close out the week, Amazon reported $3.8 billion of losses, which is the first loss over the last 7 years, and also has to be compared with the 8.1 billion profits a year ago. Otherwise, we can also think about Netflix that really lost 50% of their value following their earnings call last week. And so here, if we think about the Pelotons and the likes, Peloton having to report next week on Tuesday, we can only wait for further confirmation of this market correction, which really shows that subscription-based models of Web2 are having a very tough time to compete. If we look on the other side, on the crypto activity, I mean, all over the board, it has been a very solid month with transaction volumes, for instance, on NFT marketplaces only coming in second to their all-time high in January this year. And otherwise also a lot of exciting projects being launched.
That's very exciting. As you say, the NFT market and the crypto market has offered some sort of diversifier, at least in terms of, when we just look at the numbers. I know you produce a number of analytics for us using, various direct on-chain analytic tools, and the numbers really show, heightened activity and a lot of excitement in that market. Maybe if we run a little bit through the numbers. I mean, last week we saw a $450 million sales volume for just NFTs. I think the split was about 60% for the arts and collectibles market, so to say, and 40% more in the gaming space. The most traded NFT collections were clearly the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Traded $140 million last week. That's about 100% up week on week. And also you've seen price evolve quite strongly throughout the week. I think we started Monday at 138 ETH floor price, roughly mixed, and rallying into 152 before giving up some of the gains into the weekend. And we'll talk about that just in a little bit. But look, Mutant Ape Yacht Club's about 120 million trading, then Moonbird 53 million trading, and the new project on Solana called OK Bears traded also 50 million. So really deep and strong activity overall, and price action also following up here. Maybe do you have any also color from what you've been looking at on your dashboards?
Yeah, I'm totally sharing your analysis, and we are also seeing very interesting developments. So, for instance, Looks Rare, which really had more increased activity, also comparatively to OpenSea. So, really driving also competition on the NFT marketplaces. We had obviously also this very exciting launch of the Bored Ape Yacht Club associated land project, which really had a lot of success raising. But otherwise, if we look at the other virtual land projects that have been around, we are also here seeing continued liquidity with the hundreds of units being sold across the different virtual land platforms, and also the very stable price. So I think especially on the virtual land front, there are a lot of exciting opportunities developing. If we also look at contract specifics, and here is really where I believe LooksRare is taking up a lot of traction, is regarding the royalty protocols being enabled on smart contracts, so NFT art. And these are really in high demands on Sunday. So yesterday we actually broke the all-time high by a wide margin on royalties being traded on LooksRare. So now the new high is of $60 million of royalties being traded on the LooksRare platform, compared to an all-time high of around 30 million. And here again, the key driver behind it is the Otherside project of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And what is your view on that exciting project?
Yeah, I mean, look, we didn't touch too much on the details. Maybe let's dive into what is Otherside and what did BAYC do, because it is basically history in the making. So last weekend on Saturday 9 p.m. Eastern time, BAYC launched their Otherwise project. About 55, well, exactly 55,000 plot lands or lands plots were made available to mint at a price of 305 apes. So it was an all ape coin transaction. So you had to subscribe first to them. That was about, call it 5,800 USD equivalent for each of the land plots. So I mean, crazy amounts that they've raised, $318 million on Saturday night, and really also shaking up the market. I mean, they clogged up the Ethereum network. They managed to crash Etherscan. There was a real gas war, or gas fee war going on. So extremely prominent project. I think it showed a few of the issues that the backers, that is Yuga Labs, have to address, and they've already addressed it. I think they've mentioned that they want to compensate for lost gas fees, but also most importantly they want to move to their own chain, really showing that the limitations of ETH. Once the system's clogged up, we had people spending thousands and thousands of dollars just to get their wallet pre-approved, or even just to then transact when they minted the keys, the land.
But I have to say, I mean, this project and the name behind it also it has been around and stands for a certain quality. So on the contractual side, it's really amazing. I mean, everything is transparent with these guys and up to the highest standard. I mean, but still, it's new types of features, a lot of interlinkages. Haven't had the time to dig through the code, but obviously as a land project, they also try to bring in some utility, although within still the gaming world that they want to create. But you have resources and I guess earnability of the land passes on this project called Otherside. There's some in-game utility being derived. Still, we will have to spend a bit of time to really go through all the details. They haven't published a white paper, but the contracts are there, so we can look into it, and I think many people will look into it. It's a complex contract type, not the vanilla ERC 721. So let's see what will potentially be exploited over the coming days. I mean, they have all eyes on them, but it's really great to also see them push from this pure NFT art into really virtual land projects, and just resonates a lot with what we are seeing on other projects. In terms of pricing, here again, you have to compare it like to projects that already exist, and that would trade at around 20,000 USD for a land slot. So their ac- actual price is already showing how much
Yeah,
people expect the project to become.
Yeah, sorry, your line was a little bit bad here, but look, I fully agree with you in echoing that pricing point you mentioned. I mean, so the plots came at about $6,000, call it. They trade well in the 2 times power value, 3 times. I've seen a few of the rare ones trade as high as 100 times. I think there was trades at 292 ETH, nearly 300 ETH for these Otherside assets. So it's definitely adding a lot of traction to the market. As you say, everyone's looking at this project. Everyone's going to start going through the contract. And interestingly, you mentioned the contract because I think there was early on out of the gates some criticism with regards to the way they optimize the gas fees within the smart contract, and plenty of Twitter feeds, recommending what the best practice should be. And I think that's, talking about our project is something that is always been at the core of using something that is a lot more efficient, has a lot lower transaction or gas fees, and also that the contracts are ultimately super well designed so that you don't have to face these types of situations. I think one last part I thought was interesting about this deal is that they had KYC in place already and wallet pre-approvals. So for everyone who was new and didn't already have a Bored Ape or Mutant Ape, you had to go through the KYC process. And I think that is really interesting in terms of also how the market is maturing to comply with certain regulations, comply with certain rules ultimately in that type of environment. So definitely very interesting to watch. And I think the last point I want to make is the reason why we've seen also such high activity on BAYC and MAYC is you have as an owner 21 days now starting to claim your free NFT land within Otherwise. I think there is an allocation. Maybe you have the latest numbers or the split of how that's split out.
So you mean compared to the public sales?
Yes, there was I think 55,000 land plots, and then there is I believe about call it 30,000 mutant and Bored Apes. They will get allocations, so you're looking at I think the total land is 100,000. Maybe you have those figures.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So the split has been heavily favoring exactly the members and contributors, which are allocated 45% of the total allocation. So the 100,000 other side passes that were marketed. But for me, it's also again a point about high entry barriers into these kinds of virtual games. Let's say, I think here we always have also to distinguish. I mean, what people are buying. This will shape out as a game with in-game economies and very much in competition. to other projects, I believe, like Sandbox or Decentraland. The utility aspects, even say the real world integration seems to be out of scope of the project. And again, here as a reminder, this is all in the making. So we will also have to wait to see how this success in the launch will translate.
I fully hear you. So maybe circling back to our project and how we start to think about the world. So we emphasize again low entry barriers. So within GeoBlocks, and within the project launch, our target is to make it really accessible, both from a pricing point of view, but also from a utility point of view. So you want to give performance, accessibility across the various platforms. We want to have the mobile natives to be able to use that type of technology on their mobile, on the go, and actually also be set up today for a revolution into the VR space or into the augmented reality space, which is clearly where we're positioning ourselves as, we are playing into AR, because we believe that any type of metaverse or multiverse experience, as we say, will have a strong element of real life. And look, I think I loved what Snapchat CEO said. People, we don't bet on the metaverse. People love real life, and that's what I think should be also incorporated in these type of projects. So, GeoBlocks as a project, as a tool, will be always in the view of the real world application and utility. So, with that, I think. We're going to leave it here for now. We're going to ask everyone, thank you for your attention, first of all, but also to join our communities. We're on Discord, streaming pretty much all day. You can come and speak to the team. You can chat to us on our different voice or text channels, and really get to know what we're doing. We're going to try and keep very close to the community as to what our next steps are. And it's an exciting time to be on board and follow this as we head into the summer, into our product launch.
Great. Thanks.